amnesty is over. Now,
Mike, excuse me. You didn't mention about the confiscation of gold by executive order also.
right. And then that's true. I'm trying to kind of... What he's asking about is the confiscation of gold. Basically, Roosevelt tried to make claimed to make owning gold illegal.
Right.
It's now illegal because you're hoarding it. You are an enemy of the state. You've got to turn in all your gold. And people did.
Yeah, right. That's the funny part.
It's like, why? You know, you've got to jump off that cliff. No, I don't think I do. And what did they do? They put all of our gold in Fort Knox to keep it safe. Has anybody seen that gold? We've tried to get audits. Can you get anywhere close to Fort Knox? No, the gold's not there. All we want to do is we want to go in with a video camera. We want to see our gold. They don't let you in because it ain't there. They've lied to us again. How bad does it have to get before we do something? Page 31. I'm just going to go through these real briefly. We've got so much corruption in the United States, it's not even funny. World War I was deliberately started. I mean, everybody was all, happy. They were shaking hands, and somebody assassinated Archduke Ferdinand. Oops, there we go. Got everything in. U.S. was deliberately dragged in by sinking the Lusitania. World War II was deliberately started. And FDR got us into the World War II. How did he do that?
Blockade the Japanese.
Well, he was blockading Japan,
yeah.
But he also created the Pearl Harbor travesty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make each of you admiral. You have a navy. One of the good things about a navy is that you got lots of boats, and boats can move around and zigzag. A moving target is hard to hit. Anybody disagree with that? Not only is your boat hard to hit because it's moving, it's hard to find. You can hide it in the ocean. Anybody fly across the ocean? I mean, if you have a boat out there, the boat's probably the only people who know where it is. Finding a needle in a haystack is easy compared to finding a boat in the ocean. So now, as the admiral, your first act is to decide whether this is a good idea or not. We're going to take all of our boats and we're going to put them in this little tiny harbor called Pearl Harbor, and we're going to line them up in a straight line. How many admirals in the room want to do that? Not one. Why did we have our boats there in the first place? Because before he became president, FDR was also Secretary of the Navy. When he got elected president, he gave his admiral the order. He says, put all of your boats in Pearl Harbor. The admiral says, I will not. I'm an admiral. I mean, what kind of admiral am I going to be if I put all my boats in Pearl Harbor? No. FDR fired him. Put somebody else in. Said, put all your boats in the harbor. And he said, well, gosh, look what happened to my predecessor. I don't want to lose all these shiny medals. FDR deliberately caused Pearl Harbor to get us involved in World War II. That is treason. If he were alive today, I would assassinate that SOB myself. Anybody want to know my real feelings on the issue?
It's all right, we got it on tape.
Now, the question now becomes, if things are so bad, is there any good news? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel? And the answer is yes. Don't give up. We are just about to turn this thing around. If you don't do anything, we're definitely going down the tubes. So if we are going to turn it around, we've got to get up off of our fannies and do something. Now, one of the things that we've got to do is we've got to regain our law. The third article of the Constitution is the smallest and it provides us with the least amount of protection. That's where we need to focus. So, join the Fully Informed Jury Association. One of the things that juries can do is they can overturn the law. It's called jury nullification. Now, judges will lie to you. They say, you get to decide the facts, I will decide the law. Not the way it really happens. So if I get arrested for having black hair, according to their rules, you get to say, well, does Mike have black hair? Well, yeah, it looks like it. Guilty! You go, well, yeah, but wait a minute. The way things really work is you go, yes, he does have black hair, and we really don't care if the law says it. It's a stupid law. We're going to override that. We refuse to find him guilty. That's what happened. That's where juries came from. When they were trying to accuse William Penn of heresy because he wasn't teaching the proper religion, the jurors were put in jail. They were starved and beaten, and they refused to find him guilty. The judge finally had to let him go. So that's one of the places that I would focus. Now, instant runoff voting. One of the things that we can do as we're working for is to get this, check mark. When I say, I want you to vote for the Libertarian, people say, well, I don't want to waste my vote. If I vote for the Libertarian, the bad guy is going to win, and I'm going to feel really terrible. Because I didn't vote to prevent the bad guy from winning. Now, I don't care which guy you think is the bad guy. You're not wasting your vote. If I give you a choice, a 45% chance at lethal injection, a 50% chance of the electric chair, and 5% for escape, what are you going to vote for? The electric chair because you're likely to win? What are you going to vote for? Escape. But it's only 5%. I don't care. It's the right thing to do. Now, with instant runoff voting, you get to itemize. This is my first choice. This is my second choice. This is my third choice. Now, you can vote for the guy you really want to vote for. And if he doesn't win, they will take your second choice and go for the guy so that, the bad one doesn't win. And now, when we start getting 20, 25, and 30% for the Libertarians, guess what? Things are going to change. I have a copy of Pretty Good Privacy. It's called PGP, and it's a software program that lets you scramble your email. You can scramble it up so that the CIA and the FBI cannot read it. Grandma's peanut butter cookie recipe is safe. Now, I won't go into too much detail, but we are now using 2096 bits of encryption. It would take a Cray computer just about 100 years to number crunch all the possibilities. By that time, Grandma's going to be dead, I'm going to be dead, and we really don't care about the peanut butter cookie recipe. The reason the FBI and CIA are upset is because they can't break the code. So if you have email, get a copy of PGP. Now,
Mike, I was
yes.
pushing the tape. What were they upset about?
Oh, was that
again? Wire
the FBI?
Yeah.
The FBI and the CIA are upset because PGP works. You can scramble your email messages so well that they can't read it. And it just pisses them off. Well, why should they read it anyway? I thought I had a right to privacy. If you thought, do you write your love letters on the back of a postcard? No, not generally, because it's not for public consumption. It's only for honey buns.